Hare Krishna. Is there anyone
Mataji,
who
for
would like
giving
to
me
introduce?
this opportunity. Okay, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So I would like to hand over the call to Pallika Mataji to give a short introduction about Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji, you can take over the call.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna to all, and Dharma Pranam to all the assembled devotees. And Hare Krishna, Ajay Govind Prabhuji especially. Thank you so much for coming over and giving your valuable time and association. And all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Dharma Pranams to you. We just want to spend few minutes just giving a short introduction on Prabhuji. So we are very fortunate to have today Ajay Govind Prabhuji as our early morning speaker for he'll be discussing the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that will be 4:17:12, and he has been conducting deity worship enthusiastically at Sri Radha Golaknanda, North Carolina temple for several years. Every devotee actually has a passion or a skill that they try to effectively use in Krishna's service. Professional photography is Ajay Govind Prabhuji's expertise, so much so that he has become one of the most popular photographers in ISKCON. His dedicated service in Sadhu Sangha was taking hundreds of videos and pictures which were later savored by all devotees. This year, 2019, I personally saw him standing on the stage, smiling and patiently rendering this uninterrupted service throughout the day. And that is dedication. He and his wife, Sitida Sundari Mataji, conduct Bhakti Vriksha, and his son Utkrisht is known for his wonderful bhajan classes at Bhakti Sangha. Mataji is also well known for her awe-inspiring lectures in Bhakti Sangha too. Both Ajay Govind Prabhuji and Sitida Sundari Mataji are among the senior disciples of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So with this, I would like to hand over the call to Prabhuji without any further ado. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas. I'm audible clearly?
Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, thank you, Mataji, for giving me this wonderful opportunity for my own purification. And it's a Vaishnava quality to, glorify any insignificant person also. So, thank you so much for encouraging me for, whatever services minimum I'm able to do it within my limited capacity. So today we are going to recite from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, 17th chapter, text 12 onwards. Probably we'll be able to cover up 3-4 verses. They are very small in translation and purport. So let's offer our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Uditre Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So we'll be reciting the text 12. Matriya Vacha Rithu Prajanam Kurunam Nishmaya Paridevitam Drigam Dadhayo Kuru Sheshtha Nimittam So Anapadyata. Translation. After hearing this lamentation and seeing the pitiable condition of the citizens, King Prithu contemplated this matter for a long time to see if he could find out the underlying cause. Text 13, I'll read the translation. Having arrived at a conclusion, the king took up his bow and arrow and aimed them at earth, exactly like Lord Shiva, who destroys the whole world out of anger. purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Prithu found out that the cause of the scarcity of the food grains, he could understand that it was not people's fault, for they were not lazy in executing their duties. Rather, the earth was not producing sufficient food grains. This indicates that the earth can produce sufficiently if everything is properly arranged, but sometimes the earth can refuse to produce food grains for various reasons. The theory that the scarcity of food grains due to an increase of population is not a very sound theory. There are other causes that enable the earth to produce profusely or to stop producing. King Prithu found out the proper cause and took the necessary steps immediately. Text 14. I'll read the translation and the purport. When the earth saw that King Prithu was taking his bow and arrow to kill her, she became very much afraid and began to tremble. She then began to flee exactly like a deer, which runs very swiftly when followed by a hunter. Being afraid of King Prithu, she took the shape of a cow and began to run. Purport. Just as mother produces various children, both male and female, the womb of the mother earth produces all kinds of living entities in various shapes. This is possible for mother earth to take an innumerable shape, and at this time, in order to avoid the wrath of King Prithu, she took the shape of a cow. Since cow is never to be killed, Mother Earth thought it wise to take the shape of a cow in order to avoid King Prithu's arrow. King Prithu, however, could understand this fact, and therefore he did not stop chasing the cow-shaped earth. 16. Seeing this, Maharaj Prithu became very angry, and his eyes became as red as the early morning sun. Placing an arrow on his bow, he chased the cow-shaped earth wherever she would run. The cow-shaped earth ran here and there in the outer space between the heavenly planets and the earth, and wherever she ran, the king chased her with his bow and arrow. And text 17 translation. Just as a man cannot escape the cruel hands of death, the cow-shaped earth could not escape the hands of the son of Vena. At length, the earth, fearful, her heart aggrieved, turned back in helplessness. Om Jnana Timrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udpad Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaguna Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shemate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. So Hare Krishna, text 12. After hearing this lamentation and seeing the pitiable condition of the citizens, King Prithu contemplated this matter for a long time to see if he could find out the underlying cause. King Prithu, who is the son of Vena and was born actually out of the dead body of Vena, and in the last chapter we talked about that how he appeared and is considered as the incarnation of Lord Krishna or Vishnu. So being an incarnation of Lord, King Prithu knows everything. He actually is the master of the three words and is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he would know why and how the things are happening around. And he was an ideal king. He was here to exemplify that how a king should be. And being a king, it's a responsibility of the king to take care of the citizens in all respects. Not only in maintaining the law and order, but also it's the responsibility of the king to make sure that everybody in the kingdom is satisfied with all the basic needs and in their family matters also. So the situation here on which king is lamenting and is seeing the pitiable conditions of the citizen is that there is a scarcity of grains. People are not able to get adequate amount of grains and they are not able to maintain physically themselves. And he could see that the reason for this scarcity is not that the citizens are not working. It's actually the Mother Earth is not producing the sufficient grains. So the fact that the one reason is not applicable, another reason is applicable. So there are multiple reasons for anything to happen. There could be a immediate reason, there could be a secondary reason, there could be an ultimate reason. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He is the ultimate cause for all causes. Everybody knows that. So everything is happening on His will. Without Krishna's sweet will, nothing can take place. But then there are layers of reason to understand that why the things are happening. So if I talk about that, if I leave a glass from my hand on the floor and it breaks, now the one reason is Krishna wanted the glass to be broken by my hand, so I dropped it. Krishna sanctions everything. Okay, I had a free will whether I should leave the glass or I should not leave the glass. Well, I'm a demoniac person. My nature is demoniac because I am controlled by the modes of the material nature. So that is another reason. So at this time, the mode of ignorance is very much powerful on me, and under the mode of ignorance, I am acting destructive, so I just threw the glass. Another reason could be that, okay, it's the gravitational pull. If there would have been no gravity, the glass will not break. When we see some of the videos they show of the spacecrafts, the things don't go down. So it's the gravity which is actually causing the problem. And ultimately, yes, I am also the cause. But, why did I leave it in first place? Having a free will, I do still have a choice whether I should act under the mode of the material nature or not. And I should use my intelligence to see if I leave the glass, whether it is going to break or not. I should use my intelligence and take a decision based on that, out of my free will. So all of the reasons here are correct. It's the context, where we are talking about, which makes a reason more suitable for a particular discussion. So if somebody talks about that, okay, what is the power of gravity? So then yes, when you throw a glass, it will go and fall down and it will break, because we are talking about gravity here. We are not talking about my free will or my intelligence. So in that case, the reason that gravity is more powerful is the reason, but I cannot take that as the ultimate reason and take it everywhere, that even if I forcefully drop the glass, then it is because of the gravity and limit. So Prithu Maharaj is analyzing the situation very, very delicately and deeply, understanding what's going on here. So he is able to find out the cause. He's lamenting that the citizens here in the kingdom are suffering from the lack of material wealth. They are not prosperous because they are not getting food grains. Food grains was the main occupation, where with the food grains people would exchange the food grains and will get other services. And if food grains are not there, then other things will not flourish. If people are hungry, if people are dying, the rest of the businesses will also not flourish. Even if in our community, even in nowadays, if we talk about if nobody has food to eat, there would not be secondary enjoyments. Like people will not like to go to movies. People would not like to go to what to talk about material things. Srila Prabhupada used to say that when you are hungry, you cannot even do bhajans. So food is required for everyone. Even to do the devotional service, one has to be energetic. If not to satisfy the tongue, but still the tummy has to be satisfied to give the sufficient amount of energy so that physically the person is able to do what the person is supposed to do. So food is very important thing, and food comes from Mother Earth. If Mother Earth is not producing sufficient amount of food, then yes, there could be scarcity. So this is the situation which King Prithu is trying to understand. He is contemplating on the matter for a long time to see, how this cause could be moved. And having arrived at a conclusion, the king took up his bow and arrow and aimed at the earth, exactly like Lord Shiva, who destroyed the whole world out of anger. So underlying cause, King Prithu was able to analyze that Mother Earth was not sufficiently producing the grains, which Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in his purport, that the modern situation, which says that we are in a society where we have scarcity of food grains, is because of the increasing population. And Srila Prabhupada saying that theory is invalid, because that scarcity is not because of invalid, or increasing population. The reason is invalid because Mother Earth is not producing sufficient grains. And the reason in the modern world is that humans are actually intervening with Mother Nature and laws of Krishna to a very great extent. Humans are trying to take the power and control for everything. Scientists are trying to do that, although they know they cannot, but they are still trying for several years. They are not able to make the birth. They are not able to control the death and old age and disease. These are the four basic miseries in this material world, and none of them is conquered by scientists. Although they claim that modern science can have genetically modified plants and they are making babies, but the seed is actually taken from the living organism. They take the seeds, they modify the seeds to produce a new thing, but they are not able to produce the seeds from themselves. That is not possible. They take the existing seeds and then they modify it. That is why it is called as genetically modified, right? The GMO. They don't say that it's genetically created or something like that. Just modified. So modification means something existing, you are changing. So change is possible a little bit because of their understanding, but they cannot control. So on one hand, they are saying that, okay, population is increasing. On the other hand, they are saying that, okay, we are advancing now, we can do this. So why they cannot produce a seed which we know you just put one seed and then it produces so much of grains that the whole problem of the world is being sorted out. That doesn't happen. So King Prithu is able to understand that why Mother Earth is not producing sufficient grain. It's not the people who are not doing the sufficient amount of labor. So if Mother Earth is able to produce and people do not put the seeds on the ground and do not irrigate it on time and take care of the crops, then also the produce will not happen. But it's not that they are not trying. People are trying, still they are not able to get the results. Now that's a different reason why Mother Earth is not producing. And the reason for Mother Earth not producing will come in the future, that there were demonic people who were exploiting, and because of their exploitation the resources were used inadequately. So Mother Earth withdrew the production so that the resources could be saved and could not be misused. Otherwise it's the responsibility of Mother Earth to produce. Why is the responsibility of Mother Earth to produce the grains and sufficiently? Because it is said in our scriptures that Krishna, who is the Yajna Purush, he is the benefactor of all the Yajnas. He is the master of all demigods. And when the sacrifices are made to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everyone gets their share of sacrifice. So we see that in our normal social culture also. If we have to send an invitation, in a family, especially if we talk about, mostly from Indian background, people would send the invitation in the name of the head of the family, be it the grandfather or grandmother, or, is the father of the family or the head of the family. Because when you invite the head of the family, all others are considered to be included, right? So when you write so-and-so person with family, means everybody in the family. So if you're inviting the grandparent, that means family means his children, and then when the children will come, their family will also come. It's implicit understanding. They don't explicitly name everyone. And when they all come to the ceremony or the party, whatever, they all enjoy. They are all well treated. They are all satisfied. We don't say that, oh, I actually invited your grandfather, not you, so you are not supposed to get a plate to eat anything, or why your family is coming, only your grandfather was invited. No, that doesn't happen. Everybody is equally treated. So same is when we are doing the yajna and when we are doing the sacrifice, which is out of our prescribed duties. The sacrifice goes to Lord Krishna or Vishnu, who is the Yajna Purush, and then all other demigods are in turn satisfied. And when they are satisfied, they do their duties. And the duty of Mother Earth is to produce sufficient grains. This is what Krishna has made an arrangement. Now, in association with Lord Indra for the rains will come, the proper irrigation will happen, appropriate sunlight will come, so the proper temperature is maintained. All those things are arranged by Krishna. If that doesn't happen, nothing will be in place. We'll not be able to survive because we'll not get any food. So the reason for Mother Earth to withdraw the production was because of the exploitation. And nowadays we see that there are many other demons who are exploiting Mother Earth for all kind of resources. They are trying to pull all the resources for their monetary gains and become rich, so that they are more prosperous materially, and that is their understanding. But they don't understand that interfering with nature is actually very devastating. Nowadays, there are many countries in the world where the level of groundwater is going low and low because they are not able to harvest the rainwaters. The rains are not having properly been arranged because the climate conditions are changing. And those climate conditions are not changing because Earth is actually moving near to the sun, or sun has moved near to the Earth. The temperature is rising because of all the industries and other pollution which is happening. Right? So magnitude of that has increased so much that the adjustment which the Mother Earth was able to do is now at a very slower pace, because of which there is an increase. So this theory that the scarcity of food grain is due to the increase in population is actually not making any sense according to our scriptures. So, understanding this reason, King Prithu was very, very angry, so much so that he decided to kill Mother Earth for that sin, or the incorrect deed. So when one is not doing the prescribed duty, then that is considered as a punishable thing. And King Prithu decided to kill Mother Earth because she was responsible for maintaining, and there were so many people who were starving. When the earth saw that the King Prithu was taking his bow and arrow, she became very much afraid and began to tremble. She began to flee exactly like a deer, which runs very swiftly and then followed by a hunter, and being afraid, she began to run, taking a shape of cow. So, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Mother Earth has a capacity to take any form because she is the provider of all forms and shapes. Everything comes from Mother Earth. The material body is actually made up of elements which are taken up from Earth as well. And Earth is a significant contributor in giving us the material body. Yes, the Earth, we have 5 elements: Earth, air, water, fire, ether. And then the nutrients and other energy which we get is coming from Earth. So Earth plays a significant role. And in a practical way, we can see that, Earth is actually the source of the shape which we are taking. Though there's a process involved here with Krishna's intelligence, but then that's the underlying cause. And she took a shape of a cow because cow is an animal which is not allowed to be killed in the scriptures. According to the scriptures, when one kills the cow, one does an abominable activity. So anybody who is the knower of the scripture will never ever try to kill a cow. Considering that Mother Earth took a shape of a cow, that King Pithu is a intelligent king, and he would know that nobody has to kill cow. So Earth takes the shape of a cow, that when Pithu will see me as a cow, he would change his decision. Because he was very angry. His anger here is compared to the anger of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva's anger is at extreme when he comes at the total devastation. When he comes to the point where the whole, material creation is destroyed on the accord of Lord Vishnu with his permission and sanction. At that time, Shiva is, on the extreme of his anger. He opens up his third eye, and then, the whole material universe is destroyed. So that is the anger which is at the same level of Lord Shiva's anger that Pithu Maharaj is having. Not because of lust, not because of enviousness to us. So there is a difference between the reason for the anger. Most of the time we get angry because we are frustrated. So if we are expecting something from someone and we don't get that, we can become angry. We go somewhere, we don't get the due respect, we get angry. We expect certain behavior and we want to get that behavior, we get angry. We want a certain kind of food, we don't get the required taste, we get angry. Because all these angers, they come because one or the other need is not satisfied. And that need which is not satisfied here is a material need. We all get angry because of our material needs. People even get angry on their kids. And they don't get angry on their kids because they want to correct the kids, but they get angry on the kids because kids are not listening to them. I mean, underlying cause is, yes, they are right, the parents are right, and they are trying to teach the kids, and kids are not hearing to what they should be doing. And parents get angry not because kids are not hearing the right thing, but kids are not listening to me. So that's the first, instinct of the anger. Later on they may say, oh, okay, this was the right thing and I was trying to teach them. But then that has to be understood. So the reason for anger could be for two reasons. One is what we can get out of our frustration for our material desires not being fulfilled. Another reason for anger is for the service of Lord. And the best examples in the scriptures comes for Hanumanji. When Hanumanji went to Lanka in search of Mother Sita, he was agitated in the assembly when he was being caught, and his worshipper Lord Ramchandra was insulted in the assembly of Ravan. So Hanumanji became very, very angry, and he became so angry that he decided to burn the whole Lanka when they tried to give punishment to Hanumanji by burning the tail, because he was in a banar shape, in a monkey shape, and monkeys are more attached to their tail. So Ravan decided to burn his tail, and they, tied the cloth with ghee on it so that it is burning, and with that cloth he burned the entire Lanka. He took a deliberate decision. He didn't take a decision in anger. He was not losing his mind. He knew what he is doing. Pithu Maharaj is knowing what he is doing. He is not losing his control. He is not getting envious that how dare Mother Earth do that. He was more frustrated because Mother Earth was not doing what Mother Earth was supposed to do. And to give the punishment, one has to be angry. If one is very compassionate, one cannot give the punishment. So for giving a punishment, one has to get little angry, and that anger is out of the duty, not out of the lust. Not because he is the king and earth is not listening to him. He is the king. It's his responsibility to take care of the citizens, and that was the reason King Pithu became angry. So his anger was totally justified. Otherwise, one may question, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead incarnation. Why is he getting angry, right? He can just do the magic and produce the grains. No, but he wanted the Mother Earth actually to realize what is the fault, and then he wanted to bring that on the right path. So that's the reason the King Pithu was getting angry, and out of anger he decided to kill Mother Earth. Now, Mother Earth took an intelligent decision, showing that, even in the state of bewilderment, the intelligence is not lost. Otherwise, why will she think intelligently in a crisis situation when there is a matter of living and death? There is a bow and arrow in the hand of the king, pointed towards the Mother Earth, ready to be shot and being killed. And at that time, Mother Earth has a time to calmly think, okay, what are the scriptures saying? The scripture says that don't kill cow. So, okay, let me take the shape of the cow. All those things are happening, right? So, we can see that even in the state of extreme bewilderment, the intelligence is not lost. And we are not able to keep that intelligence in our control. What to talk about the bewilderment, even in normal scenarios, people don't keep intelligence in their control. Every time we are drifted by our evil mind and we take the decisions based on that. While driving, somebody comes, a little faster, we immediately press the pedal on the gas. Why you are, faster than me? I will be faster. Without realizing what is the speed. And then we get a ticket. Even in work situation, at home, in social circles, somebody says something, how dare, that's the first thought we get. And that's the triggering thought. And we take the train and then we keep the journey on that train of anger and enviousness. So here the situation is totally different. There is a situation of death, there is a situation of decision, but still there is a calmness of mind. The intelligence is not lost because it's all for the service of Lord. Nobody is taking anything personally. King Prithu is not taking it as personal. Mother Earth is not taking it personal. It's a duty, and she knows she has not been doing for a reason, but she is still calm. And cow-shaped earth, cow-shaped earth is for the reason that nobody kills the cow. Now, how it is justified that nobody kills the cow and King Prithu is pointing an arrow towards cow? Does King Prithu doesn't know? Mother Earth knows that King Prithu should know that, one doesn't kill the cow, and in spite of that, of a shape of a cow, King Prithu is actually running behind the cow. So scripture says that in a situation like this, even the killing of cow is also acceptable. So there has to be a reason and the context. Otherwise, the things don't make sense. So that is a very, very important point to understand, which people don't normally take it. They take one part of the situation and make the conclusion based on that without realizing the situational or the justification. So somebody may say, King Prithu was actually trying to kill the cow, so what's the harm if I kill the cow? King Prithu is the incarnation of Supreme Lord. When he can do it, why not I? But then we fail the situation here. Most of the people in this material world today are killing cow only for their own satisfaction, because they are extracting meat of the cow or using the skin of the cow, or some other products. That is not what is the situation here for King Prithu. His situation is for execution of his duty, and none of the scriptures in the word talks about killing of a cow as a duty to be satisfied. We can check that. Be it any scripture in the word. All scriptures talk about of compassionate, of being to the animals, to the lower species. So since the situation has arisen and cow is, the Mother Earth is actually very, very afraid of the anger which is coming in, and she's on the verge where she is going to die. King Prithu is trying to kill her for not executing the duties. So that's another reason that, if we are not doing our prescribed duties, we are totally deserving and creating a punishment for us, which is death. And death is inevitable. Srila Prabhupada was in one of the interview, and in the interview people were talking to him about, the advancement in the Western world, and they were saying that, in India there is a higher death rate, and in United States, because of, the modern facilities, we have a lower death rate. So we are trying to overcome the Mother Nature. And Srila Prabhupada very intelligently answered that death rate is 100% everywhere. When a person is born, the person will be dying. In India, also the same number of people die as the number of people are born. And in the United States, whosoever has taken birth, everybody is dying. So nobody is able to survive. So where is the question of death rate? You may have death arriving at a later point in time because of the medical condition. The body can be maintained a little longer, but it cannot be avoided. It can be delayed, not avoided. And the delay is also very, very insignificant. We think that delay is actually done by the medical science. It's not that. The death is fixed. The time of the death is fixed. People think that, oh, this person would have been died if we would not have treated him with that disease, so that's why he is living extra years. But actually the cause is that the person was not supposed to be dying for that reason. The Ayurveda was the medical system earlier, and that has been replaced by the medical modern science allopathic now. People may do surgeries or provide medications, but then treatments were there earlier also. The person would die at the time when the person is supposed to be dead. That is why there are a lot of people, in spite of the modern medications and facilities, people still die. If science is able to extend the life, then why not for the people who are dying? Forget about the people who are dying at an old age. There are people who are dying of the diseases in an early age. What is the answer for the science? There's no answer. When the doctor goes for a surgery and they come out, they will say, we have done our job. The rest is in the hands of God. Because they internally know that they are not the controllers. They are facilitators. They are allowed a flexibility in a short jurisdiction. They can decrease the pain, they can bring down the fever sooner, than a person would get rid of the disease in a due course of time, because internally our body has been made in such a way that there is a resistivity to be done, and it can take care of any disease. It's said that if we are on a natural living accord, we can actually overcome cancer, which is the most deadliest disease now. We can get cancer also overcome. But the problem is, we don't follow the instructions which are given to us. So if we follow that, if we live our life according to the Vedas and the Shastras, we will not even get to a stage where we'll get the cancer. But then nobody hears. So the point I'm trying to say is that it's not that the science is able to overcome that. That is there. And then if one is not, so the point here is talking about is, since death is not inevitable, nobody can escape from the clutches of death. Same was the situation of Mother Cow while she was trying to save herself. So King Prithu was like a death personified for the cow. And he was there to kill her with his bow and arrow. Till what time we have to continue, Mataji? I mean, do we have still some minutes or?
Okay, Prabhuji, you can continue for a few more minutes for sure. For me to say.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So Mother Earth was trying to run here and there, but she was not able to escape the anger of King Prithu. So why was he so angry? We talked about that reason, that his anger was not because of his own personal sense gratification or anything. He was an ideal king. He was an incarnation of God, and he understood that being there, it's his duty to protect his citizen, to make the justice, and that was his main concern. Now, Earth is actually being empowered with all kind of seeds, roots, herbs, and grain, which Lord Brahma has created in the past, and then they were being implanted in Mother Earth, that at the time of need, Mother Earth could produce. Although we see that, we need a seed, and we need to put the seed in the soil, and then the seed germinates into a plant and then gives the grains. But then there is a capacity in the earth which has been there to take the information out of the seed and, germinate. So it's just like in the modern world when we talk about, we have computers, but then we have to insert a chip in the computer. So the earth is like that, a computer, and the chip is already there, which is already provided by Lord Brahma in the form of that, and the combination of both is able to produce the output. So this process here is not just on Mother Earth that, out of nothing Mother Earth can produce everything. So this has been actually very well designed by Krishna, that yes, seed will be there. From the seed, when it goes into the soil, the germination happens, and the plant will come out and grow. What does the soil provide? Scientists are trying to make the plants in water by providing all the nutrients, but they cannot put the seed in water and the germination happens. I have not seen any mango tree without soil till date. And I have not seen any mango tree in a place where the temperatures are not adequate. Scientists are not able to do that. They are still dependent on the soil. They are still dependent on the climate, and they say that we can control. I'm not seeing, the things changing because of their own accord. So this whole thing we have to understand as is the supreme arrangement of Lord Krishna. So people who don't believe in Lord can very clearly see that how Lord has made these arrangements. All the scripture define that Lord is present everywhere. This is a very good example to see that, how Lord is present everywhere. He's omnipotent, potent. He's present everywhere. Otherwise, how a small seed, when just put in the soil, germinates? And it doesn't need human efforts, right? We can see a lot of weeds coming out in our garden. There are seeds just thrown, and automatically the plant will come. We don't have to even, go there and water it. Krishna has provided all those arrangements, but because the balance of the nature has been disturbed so much so that even after the heavy involvement of the human to increase the grains and production of the food grains, there is a scarcity. So that is another, message one has to understand, that we should not be intervening in the prescribed duties of anyone nor ourselves. So I'll just conclude with the summarization. So what we talked about today, and what our takeaway is according to me, and so the points we talked about today was a situation of scarcity where, being a king, he took his responsibility and as prescribed duty, make sure to execute to meet the demands of the citizen, because it's the duty of the king to take care of the citizen. He did not jump on the conclusion without the thinking. The thinking has to be there. The analysis of the situation has to be there to understand the situation and find out the underlying cause, and not just the one cause. We have to consider all the cause and see which is the cause right now more effective. Not just that, okay, I dropped the glass and because of the gravity it broke. The situation has to be analyzed and seen, whether it's person's fault, whether it's the fault of the destruction nature, or the modes of the material nature, gravity, or Krishna. So King Prithu did a very good example of analyzing the situation. We should be doing that. He became angry, not for his own accord, not for his situation that he was not satisfied, but then there was a breach of the execution of the prescribed duty on somebody else's part, and to teach that person a lesson, King Prithu got angry. Even in the situation of anger and bewilderment, Mother Earth and Prithu Maharaj, they both were not losing their intelligence. So Mother Earth did not lose the intelligence, and the fact that she was able to think in the situation of death, that yes, cow is the form I should take to get protected, because king would know that cow cannot be killed. She took a very intelligent decision. So intelligence should not be lost when there is a crisis, and that only happens when the faith is lost. When we don't have the faith in Krishna and process, then we try to take the things on our own accord, and at that time we lose the intelligence whenever we are in bewilderment and angry situation. So that's another thing. And then yes, finally, if one is not doing the prescribed duties, then Krishna or one of the agents of Krishna will always be there to make us realize that, and for everything we don't follow, we have to get a consequence of it. So that's another message which is there, that even Mother Earth is not spared, though she is a devotee and she's personified our mother. There's no excuse. If one doesn't follow the prescribed duty according to the law of Krishna, there is an atonement, there is a punishment. So what to talk about ourselves, and we do a lot of things in our day-to-day life where we don't follow the scriptures, where we don't follow the prescribed things. And then yes, we blame Krishna that why this is happening to me, because we are making our own future by acting now. So that is also we should understand. nobody can get escaped out of death, and then the way nobody can escape out of that, similarly, no one can escape out of the sinful reactions what one does. So one may think that, oh, I can do, but there's escape out of it. No, there's no escape out of it. In devotional practice, we say that, all the sins could be removed by purely chanting. But then how do we get the pure chanting if we have the anarthas? That is another thing to understand. Anarthas in our heart will not provide us an ability to get connected to the holy names of the Lord, so that those anarthas can be removed and we get the sinful reactions removed. So that is another point to understand. So just these points I could realize out of the text which we read today. And I'll stop here and see if anybody has any comments, additions, corrections, or any questions I can answer. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinaya. Such a beautiful class, Prabhuji. Very nice class and so many points. And at the end, the summary was awesome, Prabhuji. And you were telling like how in this Kali Yuga, how people are running to kill the cow, but not that was the intention of King Prutu. It was different. He was taking care of the people, welfare of the people, for the society. He did it like Mother Earth was not executing, so that's why he did it. Very, very, very nice and in detail explanation. And also the analyzing the thing, not immediately taking the decision, thinking why it is happening. That is also really very nice. It's not like, we see the situation and then, oh, this is wrong, this is right. No, we should think about it then, why it is happening, and all the ways when we think, or then this we have to come to the conclusion. Such a beautiful way you presented, Prabhuji. Please give us your assertion regularly. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for encouragement, Mataji. I did not, did anything on my own accord. Srila Prabhupada wrote all those things in the purport. So I just repeated that, but thank you for your encouragement.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, please ask anybody has any questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danva Pranam, all this is Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. Wonderful, wonderful realizations. Really like that. It's a simple story, part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but how you split it up, especially the two things that come to my mind is how the Mother Earth turned into the cow. So at that time, in the hour of crisis, intelligence for most of us, at least for me for sure, the intelligence is lost at the time of when we are bewildered. So, but that's not the case with Mother Earth. How if we think about Krishna at the time of crisis, then definitely there is a solution to it. So that's how she turned into a cow. And also, as you mentioned, that we have to perform our duties. And if not, then Krishna will definitely, laws of karma will act, and Krishna will need to punish us for that. And no one here is spared. And we see that even Mother Earth. So even as you mentioned, the context is important rather than actual thing that we say. Whether a cow killing also, the context makes all the difference. So the way you explained with the gravity, the glass, at least, though I have not written down those notes, but these are the three things that really have hit me. Thank you so much. And please continue to come if you can. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. Honorable Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful lecture, Prabhu. You should always come on the call. Prabhu, I just had one query over here. When we read the Bhagavatam, there are always these hidden meanings into it, right? As you said, that the context with which Maharaj Prutu was doing these acts had been different. So how can a layman, like a normal person reading the Bhagavatam, understand these things? Like unless and until it's explained, it's very hard to understand these intricacies. So what should be the mood when we are reading these things, Prabhu?
So, Mataji, Srila Prabhupada has given us the entire package which is complete in itself. And if we follow his instruction, there's nothing, any unanswered situation or question. So coming to the question which you are posing for a general man, how they will get the meaning. So Srila Prabhupada explains that there are two things to be followed when you are reading Srila Prabhupada's books. First, he says that they should be read under the guidance of a spiritual master. Now, the spiritual master here doesn't mean a person who has given you the Diksha and you have accepted him as a formal guru. And when Srila Prabhupada says somebody, a spiritual master, he actually refers to people who have been connected to the Guru Parampara and they have already accepted this message in the right way. Because they have understood it correctly, they can explain it better. If books are the basis, then we don't need schools. In spite of immense number of books, guides, training material, we still need teachers. The reason is we cannot understand on our own accord through books only. So a guidance of a trained teacher is very important, which Srila Prabhupada has given us a mechanism of Guru Parampara, and somebody who is connected to the Parampara may not be have taken initiation, that's okay, but if a person has actually accepted the books in the understanding in a Guru Parampara way, then the person is able to explain. So that is the first important thing. Second thing, Srila Prabhupada says that when you are reading my books, you have to read scrutinizingly. Now, scrutinizingly reading doesn't mean that, okay, I'm paying attention to the words. Scrutinizingly reading means why even that statement is made in first place. So why would Srila Prabhupada talk about King Venu getting angry? I mean, is there a reason everybody gets angry? It's a common thing. Why it has to be mentioned? There would be something of anger which is related to King Prithu, then that's the reason he is coming here. If he is getting angry just like me, then what's the point of mentioning, right? There is no need. So there is something else. And when we think that question, either we may get an answer when we read the scriptures, probably in context, in before chapter before, or some of the texts before, or maybe the text coming up. If we don't get that, it gives us an anxiety and a reason to go to a person who is trained and guru and ask him, so and so thing happened. I read the scripture. I could not understand why Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, or the scripture is talking about King Prithu Maharaj gets angry. Everybody gets angry. It's a common thing. If it is about common things, why this book is so special? So that gives us an anxiety. Yes, we are in our own accord not capable to understand those books, and the only shelter we have is to scrutinizingly reading and reading under the guidance of a spiritual master or a person who is already trained. So that is the way. And ISKCON has provided us n number of forums. There are tons of lectures online. If you are a person who wants to connected to online, of course, go to the bona fide websites. We have Bhakti Sangha group here where we have morning sessions, evening sessions, afternoon sessions to ask questions. Several exalted people here, more knowledgeable, more experienced, more realized to talk about. We have Bhakti Rikshas, we have temples, and that's why it is more important to go to all programs, because such things come out of there. So association with like-minded people, trained people, shelter of the books, under the guidance of spiritual master, and dedication. So that's what is the key. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Prabhu, this question came into my mind because when we are into book distribution, there are so many of them who take the Bhagavatam sets, right? So is it necessary for us to tell them to go through these sites and listen to the classes, because they are still not into that stage, like many of them are not coming to the Bhakti Vriksha yet. So if they start reading the Bhagavatam by themselves, will they get lost, or will they, out of curiosity, they will come towards more Krishna consciousness? That is I was just thinking about that part. So,
all right. So, Mataji, my answer to that would be that a doctor first has to go to a medical institute to learn the science of medical sense, and then later on the doctor is capable of analyzing the situation on his own, still study the books and make an inference out of it. So if the first day I say, doctor, take these books, these are the medical books, now you are a certified doctor because just you have purchased the book, please follow your practice, that will not work. But if I say, I don't know if there are any doctors or not, but they can confirm, if the doctor has taken the medical degree, they may not have understood the situation of all patients in their study. They may have understood the generalized cases and situational things. However, each patient is a different patient. Each body is a different body. Each body is a different composition. They have to analyze. They have to such. I may have fever, so you can give me this medicine. But along with fever, I have diabetes, so you change the medication. Along with diabetes, I have the problem of blood pressure also, so you may give me a different medication. Again, along with fever, diabetes, blood pressure, I have a high cholesterol, so you may have a fourth medication. Now, along with that, I have an allergy to the fourth medication which you gave me. So there are a number of situations. A doctor is equipped to do that. So same is the situation of a person who takes the book for the first time. The encouragement is to join and learn to get to an extent where they are capable of understanding it themselves. If I talk about, Baldev Vidyabhushan, he did not write a commentary under the guidance of a spiritual master. He was trained by the spiritual master to that extent that he was able to write that. So, all our senior acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, they were so dedicated to their gurus and were well dedicated that they trained themselves to an extent that they were able to do the things on their own accord. So similarly, a person who takes the Bhagavatam, who takes the Bhagavad Gita, has to come to a place where he gets learned through the trained people over a period of time when they are able to make the analysis on their own accord and look for the information by themselves. Then they are free to go to other sources. Otherwise, there is a chance of getting lost. So, that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please come regularly more often on the calls, Prabhu. It's really nice to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Mataji, I'll try. Thank you. Right. Is there any other question or comment? Otherwise, we can wind up. It's already 8:20.
Ajay Govind Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Sureshwar Sham here from Charlotte. Yeah, thank you Prabhu. Nice class and some nice points. So, Prabhuji, one question.
Yes.
King Prithu became angry for the right purpose, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Prabhuji, why you want to take that extreme step of killing Mother Earth, right? And there would have been some drastic consequences, Prabhu, which I cannot think, right? You could have done something else, right, Prabhu? Like, some other options of doing yajna,
So, I haven't read the reason behind that, why being angry was a solution for that. But then there are situational, things. When our kids are studying, we talk to them. We tell them that, okay, you should study well, because if you don't study well, you will not get good marks in the exams. If you don't get good marks in the exams, you will not get, your choice of college or your choice of profession, or you will not be able to do that. At that time, we don't take the stick and start beating the child that, okay, if you don't study now, you will fail after 1 year or, in the exams. So that's one way. If that has been done already, and then things happen, we may be a little angry. I told you 5 times not to watch TV, but you should study, and you're not doing it. So that's another situational reaction. The third thing should be, when we see the result, we can get angry. I told you, I explained you to study, you didn't listen to me. I warned you not to watch the television and study, you didn't do that. And here's the result. At that time, the preaching will not happen. There might be a different action. King Prithu knows that Mother Earth is intelligent enough to know what she has to do, what she is not doing. So there's no point of preaching to Mother Earth. Oh, Mother Earth, you have to do that. There's no point praying, because sacrifices are done to Lord Vishnu, and once that is offered, it's the responsibility of the demigods to take care of their things. I don't go and tell, Donald Trump or Narendra Modi, oh, this is your duties, right? They know it. They should know it. So they don't know, that's a different thing, but they should know is an idle situation. The situation we are talking about is of idle people. They are not the people who we need to train, guide, and then. So based on that, the situation, there could be different actions. And I think that was King Prithu's analysis. He thought a lot before taking a decision. And, that's my understanding here, based on how he has reacted. So since there are different ways to react in a situation, depending upon what the situation is, the actions is to be taken up. I think it gives some hint of what I'm trying to say, Prabhu, if I'm not very much clear. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Right, so Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. A very wonderful presentation, very, very thought. I have one comment in the last question.
Sure, Prabhu.
एक कहावत है ना हिंदी में, मरता क्या नहीं करता. So King Prithu didn't kill the cow because he wanted to get her to do her duty. So
correct.
This showed the fear So sometimes that action on his part, that I'm going to kill you, you better do your work.
Yeah, Sam Dam Dand Ved.
Yes. So we should not think that King Prithu would have killed cow, because he is the king and
Correct.
he wants to use his citizens to do their duty properly.
Absolutely,
So
you are right.
it only came to that point where say, oh, get ready to do your work, otherwise you will be out. Because what is the use of someone so valuable and so useful if one does not, is useless not doing his duty?
Correct.
So that is
Correct.
the part of the king, he showed her the fear that you want to survive, then you better do your job. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you for that addition, Prabhu. A teacher may have the stick in the class, but it doesn't mean that every time the teacher is going to hit the kids with the stick, right? So that may be just with the fear, or yeah. Yes. Very nice addition, Prabhu. Thank you so much. All right, so I think we can stop here. It's already about like 8:30. People would have to rush to the office. So if there are any other questions or comments, please feel free to contact me.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for such a beautiful class. Please give us your association more often, Prabhuji. And I would like to thank you once again and offer obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha paritanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Ajay Govind Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.